Hey everyone, welcome back to another barbecue edition of Feeling the Spirit. And this is something I am really excited about because it might be my favorite thing to make. Even though I've only done it a couple times because it's kind of a pain. But we are going to make pastrami. So, little backstory, I go to Chicago a couple times every year for meetings. Go to a place, restaurant in Chicago, if you're ever in Chicago, Green Street Smoked Meats. It's one of those Texas barbecue places. You go in, you pay for stuff by the pound, you get their pastrami, it will change your life. It is so good, and all it is pastrami brisket, right? So take a whole brisket. So a couple things, I just got back from Chicago. I was like, man, I need to make another one of these. My Sam's Club here started carrying USDA Prime, and it's training camp season for my Buffalo Bills, so heck, we're gonna, all those three things we gotta celebrate. We are gonna make some pastrami. So, one of the tricks, well not the tricks, but one of the things you have to do for pastrami is you gotta cure it. So that's why we don't make it all the time, but it cures for about 7 days. So to cure that, you've gotta make your brine. And so we're gonna do that first. And the trick with the brine is it's pretty simple, but you have to make something called Pickling Spice. And this is Pickling Spice right here. It's got a lot of ingredients in it. It's about 13 different ingredients to blend this stuff together. You can buy store-bought versions of it, but I recommend making your own. And I'm going to put the recipe up somewhere right here. Okay, so that's the recipe to make this pickling spice, okay? And so then to make the brine from there, you're gonna need 1.5 cups of kosher salt and a cup of sugar. That's what I've got in here. And we're gonna put this in a gallon of water. So you put that in there. You need the pickling spice. This is about 1/3 of a cup of pickling spice that we're gonna dump in there. And if you smell this, oh, it smells so good. It's just happiness. And then the other thing you need is pink curing salt, okay? And so we're gonna put about 1.5 tablespoons of pink curing salt. This isn't like Himalayan pink salt. This is curing salt. So you have to make sure you get the curing salt. I get it from a butcher down the road. And you're gonna put that in. We're gonna mix this up and we're gonna boil this water to get all the salt and sugar diluted and broken down so it's gone. And then we're going to dilute this some more. We're going to add about another gallon of water, cool it down, and then we'll brine this brisket. So I'm going to get this boiling, and then we'll start trimming the brisket to get that all ready so we can get it brining. All right, we're back. We've got our brine in that gallon of water. It has been boiling, simmering, so we've got all those flavors from the pickle spice. The salt is dissolved, the sugar's dissolved. So that's ready to go. We've got the brisket trimmed, and if you'll notice, if you've watched my other brisket video, I trimmed this a lot less for the pastrami. So I just basically angle cut it. I don't dig in and separate the point from the flat. I want to keep a lot of that fat inside there. I'm going to let that render down in the cook process with this pastrami, and I want it all to soak in that brine. So what we're going to do is I've got right here about 1 gallon's worth of ice, and we're going to cool the brine down by pouring that in the ice water and making ice water to let that cool. We want this brine to cool down. Get all the good stuff out of there. And we'll stir that up. And then we're going to use this large Ziploc bag, essentially. We're going to put the meat in there. We're going to put the brine in there. And it's going to go in the fridge. It's going to sit for a week. We're going to suck all the air out of it so that meat is just soaking in that brine. And we're going to do it for 7 days. And we'll get that ready. So I'm going to get this all prepped. I'll show you what that looks like once I got the bag done. And then we'll see you in a week. Okay, we've got her all bagged up. So what I'll do is try to get as much air out of it as possible. And then I'm just going to twist tie this. And so you can see that thing is all the way submerged. And it's just going to soak. We'll just check on it every other day or so, stir it around, make sure the spices are getting moved around, but it's just going to soak for a week. We'll see you in 7 days. All right, everybody, welcome back. It has been a week, and our pastrami's been brining in this bag in my fridge downstairs, the fridge up here. It's got transferred all over the place. We've been flipping it. I pulled it out, and what you need to do now is just rinse it off because it's soaking. There's a bunch of extra salt water on top, so I've rinsed this off really good just in cold water. And so now we got to rub it and we get to smoke it. So for the rub, it's really simple. We're using whole coriander and peppercorns, and we grind them up. So I used about a 1/3 cup each of these, and we just grind them up, and that's gonna be a rub. There's no salt or anything in this rub. There's nothing else added in there because all the salt and everything is absorbed into this meat. You've got all the flavor. You can see some of the leftover stuff from the brine, but right there. Just saved a little bit left. Need to touch up anything. I'll let that sit for a minute, get the smoker running. Now we're gonna run the smoke a little bit lower. Typically on a brisket I'll run it at 250. We're gonna run this at 225, especially for the first little bit while it just absorbs the smoke. I don't want it too hot. Like I said, a lot of the moisture has been pulled out of this, so we've got to let the fat and everything in there break down. But we're gonna cook this a little bit slower to start, and then we'll get it wrapped. So we'll see you on the smoker here in just a minute. All right, man, we've slapped this thing on. Now look, we put the fat cap side down, so this is the flap up here. The point is down here. It's got most of the fat and everything that kind of keeps it protected from the heat. And we got it set on 225. We're gonna let that cook for about 5-6 hours, just like this, and then we'll come wrap it. See you then. All right, this thing's been going for about 6 hours. See, it's got a nice color to it. You can see the red pastrami starting to come through. That fat's starting to break down. It's probably internal, probably around 145, 150. I've been keeping it low, so we're gonna go ahead and get this thing wrapped. All right, guys, here it is. We pulled it at about 205. It's probing 203 to 206. It's been resting for about not quite an hour, so we're gonna go ahead and cut into this thing. And said you want to go against the grain there. There we go, good color. So look what we got there. Just pulls apart. Whew. Let's taste it. Oh man. That's pastrami. All right, Todd's running that camera, and I can tell he wants to come eat some. Now, this is interesting. You'll see right here. We'll see how it goes, but feel like I've marinated that for 7 days, and there's just that little strip right there where it didn't quite get through. So it probably could have used another day of marinating, of curing, but I'm gonna just start eating this while you film. Man, that's good. Go ahead and put it down and let you try it.